You've been lied to about Nikola Tesla. They didn't just steal his inventions, they stole what he discovered about you. January 7th, 1943. Room 3327, New Yorker Hotel. They found Nikola Tesla sitting upright, dead, smiling. But here's what the police report buried. The room was glowing. Not from lamps, not from windows. The air itself was emitting a soft blue light. 3 officers saw it. None could explain it. They called it reflection from unknown source. Then the FBI arrived. Within 24 hours, every paper Tesla ever wrote was gone, seized, classified. Some documents are still redacted 80 years later. Whole sections blacked out. You want to know what they hid? The truth about Long Island, 1903, the night Tesla pushed 150,000 volts through his body and made contact with something he called Lucifer. Now, before you click away, stop. This isn't mysticism. This is physics. Documented physics that proves consciousness and energy are the same thing. And here's why this matters to you right now. You have the same circuitry Tesla had, the same body, the same electromagnetic field, the same access. The only difference? You're running on default settings, installed by people who never knew they had a choice. Tesla figured out how to upgrade. And what he found on the other side, when he pushed his biology to the limit, wasn't God or the devil. It was the observer, the thing looking through your eyes right now. The awareness hearing these words. And it's been waiting for you to remember. Most people will never see this. Most people will scroll past, go back to sleep, and keep wondering why life feels like it's happening to them. But you're still here. That means something. Let me show you what they classified. Because what Tesla saw that night isn't just a secret about energy. It's a secret about you. Long Island, autumn 1903. Picture this. Wardenclyffe Tower, 187 feet tall, its copper dome gleaming against the night sky. Built to give the world free energy, wireless electricity for everyone. But Tesla's broke. J.P. Morgan pulled funding when he realized Tesla wanted to give it away. The dream is dying. Debts crushing him. The tower stands like a monument to failure, so Tesla does what desperate geniuses do. He pushes the edge. That night, documented in his private journal, now locked in the Tesla Museum in Belgrade, he conducts what he calls the final test. He surrounds himself with magnifying transmitters, coils that generate millions of volts, and he's going to run it through his body. Not past his body, through it. Here's what you don't know about Tesla. He trained for years to conduct lethal current. He spent hours letting electricity arc through his hands, arms, and chest. He claimed it let him see energy, feel it, and access states of consciousness impossible through normal means. Your hands occupy 40% of your motor cortex. Let that sink in. Half your movement brain is wired to your hands, not your legs, not your torso. Your hands are your primary interface with physical reality. Tesla knew this. The yogis knew this 5,000 years ago when they designed mudras, hand positions to direct energy flow through the body. But Tesla took it further. That night, the coils begin to hum, low at first, then building. The air crackles with potential. Electricity arcs from terminal to terminal, creating a storm of light and sound. And Tesla opens himself to it. 150,000 volts surge through his body. His nervous system lights up like a circuit board. Every cell conducts. Every fascial fiber resonates. His heart generates electromagnetic waves that pulse in sync with the coils. Then, silence. Not the absence of sound. The disappearance of sound, movement, and time itself. His journal entry, written the next morning with shaking hands. My heart slowed. My breath vanished. Everything around me turned to light. White, cold, endless. And then he felt it. A gaze, not with eyes, but with consciousness. As if something stood nearby, studying him. He saw no face, heard no voice. No words echoed in his mind. but he sensed a presence, ancient, incomprehensible, watching him, not with malice, not with love, simply observing. And here's where most people would panic, would shut it down, would run. Tesla didn't. He focused every ounce of awareness toward that presence, toward that point of light from which the silence emanated, and he asked, "Who are you?" The answer came not in words, but as an impulse, a pulse, as if reality itself exhaled. Everything around him began to tremble. Sparks flashed, and in Tesla's mind, millions of images, formulas he'd never seen, voices he'd never heard, stars he couldn't name. He saw himself from outside his body. He saw the earth, tiny, fragile, surrounded by streams of light. He saw how energy becomes matter, how thought gives birth to form, how observation collapses infinite potential into a single reality. And in one moment, one eternal, terrifying moment, he understood something that would haunt him forever. The light was alive, and it knew everything about him. In his consciousness, one word echoed: Lucifer. Stop right there, before your programming kicks in and you think this is about spirits and hellish environments. It's not. The name Lucifer means light bearer, morning star, the bringer of illumination. Tesla wasn't meeting evil incarnate. He wasn't making a deal with the devil. He was meeting the observer, the consciousness underlying all energy, all matter, all existence. And what it showed him tore the veil of reality completely apart. His body convulsed. The laboratory vanished. He stood in endless light. No shadow, no direction, no up or down, no before or after. Just eternal now. Millions of images flooded his awareness. He saw cities illuminated by wireless light, people communicating across continents without wires, energy flowing freely through the air like radio waves. Then he saw darkness, war, explosions, white light consuming everything that lived, weapons built from the same formulas, the same energy, the same principles. And the presence, this consciousness, this Lucifer, spoke without words. You seek power, but power is a test. The light you give can create or destroy. Choose. When Tesla came back, he was lying on the cold floor of the laboratory, trembling, drenched in sweat. The coils silent, the air thick with ozone and the smell of burnt metal. But in his mind, an echo, not a voice. A whisper of electricity that would never fully leave him. From that day forward, Tesla never pushed that far again. He continued his work, continued inventing, but he never again conducted experiments at the edge of death. Years later, when he was old and alone in room 3327, he told his friend Mark Twain, "He is not God's enemy, Sam. He is part of him, simply fulfilling his role." Now you're thinking, interesting story, but what does this have to do with me? Everything. What Tesla discovered wasn't special, wasn't supernatural, wasn't reserved for geniuses in laboratories. It was a property of consciousness itself, a property you're using right now. This very second, whether you know it or not. Stay with me, this gets dangerous. Close your eyes for 5 seconds. Do it right now. Now ask yourself, who just closed those eyes? Who made that decision? Open them. That awareness you felt, the one that made the choice, that observed the darkness, that opened your eyes again. That's not your brain. Your brain is matter. 3 pounds of fat and neurons firing electrochemical signals. Matter doesn't observe. Matter is observed. So what's doing the observing? Consciousness, the thing behind your eyes. The silent witness watching your entire life unfold. And here's what Tesla discovered, what got his papers seized and classified for 80 years. Consciousness doesn't come from your brain. Your brain comes from consciousness. This isn't philosophy. This isn't spiritual mumbo-jumbo. It's quantum physics. and it's been proven over and over in laboratories around the world. The double-slit experiment proves it. You shoot electrons through two slits. If you watch them, they behave like particles, going through one slit or the other. Don't watch them? They behave like waves, going through both slits simultaneously. The act of observation changes physical reality, not metaphorically, not theoretically, physically, measurably, repeatably. Now think about this. Every time you look in the mirror, you see a body, you think, this is me. But whose eyes are looking? Science tells us your cells die and replace themselves constantly. The body you have today isn't the same body you had 7 years ago. Not metaphorically, literally. Every cell has been replaced. Even your brain, the so-called control center, the seat of your identity, has rewired itself hundreds of times over. Neural pathways dying, new ones forming, constantly reshaping. So if your body's always changing, always dying, and being reborn, how can it possibly define who you are? It can't. You're not your body. You're the awareness wearing it, like a headset, like a virtual reality suit. Your body is the interface, but you, the real you, is the one experiencing through it. John Wheeler, the physicist who worked alongside Einstein, who coined the term black hole, who spent decades trying to understand the relationship between consciousness and reality, came to a startling conclusion in his final years. He called it the participatory universe. The idea that reality doesn't exist out there, waiting to be discovered. Instead, the act of observing collapses potential into actual. You're not watching reality unfold. You're creating it. Right now. This second, with every observation. Wheeler said, "We are participators in bringing into being not only the near and here, but the far away and long ago." Read that again. You're not just shaping your future. You're collapsing your past into the version you remember. Your awareness reaches backward and forward in time, selecting which possibilities become real. This isn't poetry. This is physics. Most people do this unconsciously, on autopilot, running programs installed by parents, culture, media, fear. They observe unconsciously, react unconsciously, create unconsciously, then wonder why their life feels like it's happening to them instead of through them. Tesla figured out how to do it consciously, and when 150,000 volts forced his entire system into perfect coherence, when every cell, every neuron, every fascial fiber synchronized into one unified field, he saw the mechanism clearly. He became the observer observing itself. The presence he encountered, this Lucifer consciousness, wasn't external. It wasn't a separate entity visiting him from some other dimension. It was recognition. The universe looking into its own mirror. Consciousness recognizing itself. And here's what that means for you. You're not separate from the universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself through your unique perspective. The stars you see at night? You're not separate from them. You're the same consciousness that animates them, looking at itself through human eyes. The people you interact with? Not separate beings. Different expressions of the same awareness. The challenges you face? Not external obstacles, reflections of internal patterns. Wheeler proved this mathematically. Einstein suspected it. Tesla experienced it directly. And now you're about to understand it in a way that changes everything. But first, you need to see how deep this goes. Let's go deeper. Past, where most people dare to look. Think about every experience you've ever had. Every moment of joy, every heartbreak, every triumph, every loss. What's the common thread tying all of it together? Not your body, that's changed completely multiple times. Not your thoughts. Those shift and change like clouds in the sky. Not your emotions, they rise and fall like waves. So what remains? The awareness watching it all, silent, unchanging, eternal. Witnessing your entire life like someone watching a movie. That's the real you. Not the character on the screen, but the awareness watching. And here's where Tesla's discovery becomes absolutely world-shattering. What if the entire universe is a mirror reflecting that awareness back to you? Wheeler didn't just suggest this philosophically. He proved it mathematically. He showed that reality doesn't exist as some independent thing out there. Instead, it arises in response to consciousness, a self-excited circuit, a feedback loop. Observation creates the observed. You are both the observer and the observed, the creator and the creation, the question and the answer. Let me make this personal so you can feel it in your body. Have you ever noticed? When you wake up feeling confident, joyful, energized, everything just flows. People are kinder, traffic is lighter, opportunities appear, doors open, life works. But when you wake up, stuck in doubt, fear, anxiety, the world mirrors that back. Challenges pile up, people are difficult, nothing goes right, friction everywhere. You've experienced this. Everyone has. Most people think it's just their perception changing, like they're seeing the same reality through different emotional filters. Wrong. The reality itself is changing. The mirror is reflecting a different version based on your internal state. This is Wheeler's participatory universe in action. This is what Tesla saw in that moment of perfect coherence. You're not just in the universe. The universe is in you. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every emotion you feel, sends ripples through the quantum field. Those ripples shape what collapses into your experienced reality. The HeartMath Institute has measured this. When you're in a state of heart coherence, when your heart rhythm becomes ordered and your electromagnetic field becomes strong, the environment around you literally responds differently. Plants grow faster near coherent people. Water crystallizes into more beautiful patterns. Even random number generators become less random. This isn't woo. This is measurable science. Your electromagnetic field, extending 8 to 12 feet beyond your physical body, is constantly interacting with every other field around you, broadcasting your internal state, receiving signals from others. You're not contained in your skin, you're a field. Now stop. Really think about this. Every circumstance in your life right now, your relationships, your bank account, your health, your opportunities, your challenges, is a reflection of your internal state. Not what you consciously want, not what you say you believe. Your actual vibrational frequency. The electromagnetic signal you're unconsciously broadcasting 24/7. This is what Tesla understood when the presence told him, power is a test. Because once you realize you're creating your reality through your awareness, through your electromagnetic broadcast, through your observation, you can never claim to be a victim again. And that terrifies people. It's easier to blame circumstances, other people, bad luck, the economy, the government, your parents, it's your past. But Tesla looked into the mirror of creation and saw the truth with absolute clarity. There is no out there causing your life. There's only you projecting your internal state onto the quantum field, and the field reflecting it back. Try this right now. Close your eyes again. Imagine the universe as an infinite mirror surrounding you on all sides. Now look at your life, your relationships, your career, your emotional state, your patterns. What's the mirror showing you? This isn't about judgment. This isn't about shame. This is about awareness. Because the moment you see the pattern clearly, you can change it. You've felt this before, you know you have. Those moments when everything aligned perfectly. You thought of someone and they immediately called. A problem seemed impossible, and suddenly the solution appeared. You needed money, and it showed up from an unexpected source. You walked into a room and felt the energy shift just because you were there. You called those coincidences, synchronicities, lucky breaks. They weren't. They were moments of perfect coherence, moments when your internal state aligned so precisely with a specific frequency that the universe mirrored it back instantly. The HeartMath Institute measures this. When you achieve what they call heart-brain coherence, when your heart rhythm becomes ordered, when your brain waves synchronize, when your nervous system enters parasympathetic mode, your electromagnetic field becomes more powerful, more influential, more creative, and reality becomes responsive. People who train in coherence report massive increases in synchronicity. Doors opening, the right person showing up at exactly the right time, solutions appearing out of nowhere, life flowing instead of forcing. This isn't attraction. This isn't manifestation. This isn't positive thinking. This is physics. Your coherent electromagnetic field is interacting with the quantum field around you. And because observation collapses potential into actual, your coherent awareness is selecting, consciously or unconsciously, which possibilities become your experienced reality. But here's the part most people never understand. Most people achieve coherence randomly, by accident in fleeting moments they can't explain or replicate. Tesla learned to access it intentionally, to turn it on like a switch, and that's what got his papers classified. Think about it. Really think about it. Imagine if everyone understood this. If everyone knew they could consciously shape reality through electromagnetic coherence, through focused awareness, through heart-brain synchronization. What happens then? You don't need corporations to tell you what's possible. You don't need governments to give you permission. You don't need experts to validate your experience. You become your own authority. The entire control structure, the one that depends on you believing you're powerless, separate, at the mercy of external forces, collapses overnight. This is why the FBI seized his final writings. Not because of weapons, not because of death rays or earthquake machines, but because he documented the exact methodology for conscious reality creation. How to achieve coherence, how to synchronize your field, how to direct electromagnetic energy with focused intention, how to access what he called free energy, not just from the environment, but from consciousness itself. Those papers are still classified, whole sections still blacked out, still hidden after 80 years. But here's the beautiful, perfect irony. They didn't need to hide the papers, because the mechanism is already inside you. Your body is the technology. Your fascia is the semiconductor. Your heart is the power generator. Your consciousness is the directive force. You don't need Tesla's notebooks. You don't need secret documents. You don't need external technology. You just need to remember how to use what you already have. Now think about your life. Right now, this moment. Every challenge you're facing, every obstacle, every limitation, every problem you think is out there, is actually a reflection of an internal pattern. Change the pattern, and the reflection changes. Not eventually. Not someday when you've done enough work or raised your vibration enough. The moment you shift your awareness, the universe shifts with you. Wheeler called this it from bit. The idea that all of physical reality emerges from binary choices, yes or no, observed or unobserved, believe or doubt, fear or trust. Every moment is an opportunity to choose. Will I believe in the illusion of separation? Or will I remember my infinite nature? Will I operate from fear and scarcity, or from love and abundance? Will I be the victim or the creator? Most people choose unconsciously. They choose separation, fear, victimhood, not because they want those things, but because those are the default programs running in their unconscious mind. And that's why they stay trapped in the same patterns, the same loops, the same reflections. But you don't have to. Right now you're standing at a crossroads. You can continue living as the character in the story, reacting to the plot as it unfolds, or you can realize you're the author. You've always been the author. You're holding the pen. Tesla chose to become the conscious author, and it cost him everything by conventional standards. Poverty, ridicule, isolation, the confiscation of his life's work. But it gave him something most humans never even glimpse: direct perception of the creative force underlying all reality. That same access is yours. Right now, not someday, now. Not after you've meditated for 10 years, or read 100 more books, or taken all the courses, or learned all the techniques. Now. You already have the hardware. You're already conducting energy. You're already collapsing quantum possibilities into experienced reality every single moment. The only question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? Let me show you how to flip the switch. But first, you need to understand the technology you're already using. Now we get to the part they really buried deep. Your fascia, the web of connective tissue that wraps around every muscle, every organ, every cell in your body, isn't just structural support. It's a liquid crystal semiconductor. The Fascia Research Society has proven this. Fascia conducts electricity. It stores energy like a capacitor. It transmits information faster than your nervous system. And here's what changes everything. Your fascia responds directly to consciousness. You think a thought, and your fascia tenses or releases. You feel an emotion, and the viscosity of your fascia literally changes, becoming more fluid or more rigid based on what you're feeling. This isn't metaphor. This isn't spiritual language. This is documented, measurable physiology. Tesla knew this. He didn't call it fascia, but he understood that the human body has a built-in electrical network that responds to intention. This is why mudras work, why acupuncture works, why certain postures create specific states of consciousness, why yoga isn't just stretching. You're not just moving your muscles, you're changing the electrical flow through your fascial network. You're tuning your internal antenna. Now think about your heart. Your heart generates 60 times more electromagnetic energy than your brain. The electrical amplitude is 60 times greater, and that field doesn't stop at your skin. It extends 8 to 12 feet beyond your physical body. That's not metaphorical. That's measurable with sensitive magnetometers. The HeartMath Institute has documented this thousands of times. You are not contained within your body. The real you, the energetic you, the electromagnetic you, extends into the space around you, constantly broadcasting, constantly receiving. This is why you can feel when someone's staring at you across a room. Why you sense someone's mood before they speak a word. Why certain people feel energizing and others feel draining. It's not mystical intuition. It's electromagnetic resonance. Your field and their field are communicating, broadcasting, receiving, interfacing, and your fascia, that liquid crystal semiconductor running through your entire body, is translating that electromagnetic information into sensations you experience as gut feelings, intuitions, vibes. Now, stop. Really let this sink in. You are not a solid object moving through empty space. You are an electromagnetic field that thinks. And that field responds to your awareness the same way Tesla's coils responded to electrical current. Direct it consciously, and you amplify your creative influence on reality. Let it run on autopilot, and it broadcasts whatever unconscious patterns are running in the background. Fear, scarcity, doubt, resentment, victimhood. Try this experiment right now. Stand up. Feel your feet on the ground. Now tense every muscle in your body. Clench your fists. Tighten your jaw. Pull your shoulders up toward your ears. Make your whole body rigid. Hold that for 5 seconds. Feel what that does. Notice the sensation. Now release everything. Let it all go soft. Breathe deeply. Let your jaw hang slack. Let your shoulders drop. Let your belly relax completely. Feel the difference? What you just did was change your fascial tension, and in doing so, you changed your electromagnetic broadcast. In the tensed state, you were broadcasting threat, protection, scarcity, defense. Your field was contracted, guarded, closed. In the relaxed state, you're broadcasting safety, openness, abundance, receptivity. Your field is expanded, open, flowing. The quantum field responds to both broadcasts, but the outcomes are radically, completely different. Tesla understood this instinctively. He trained himself to remain in a state of relaxed conductivity, even while running millions of volts through his body. Because he knew that his internal state, his fascial tension, his electromagnetic coherence, his nervous system activation, would directly affect the outcome of his experiments. When he achieved perfect coherence that night at Wardenclyffe, when his fascia became a perfect conductor, when his entire body synchronized into one unified electromagnetic field, he could perceive the underlying consciousness that animates all energy. You can do the same thing, not by running 150,000 volts through your body, but by training your fascia to remain in coherent, relaxed conductivity. And I'm going to show you exactly how. But first, you need to understand what you're actually tuning. Here's where theory becomes practice. What I'm about to give you is the protocol Tesla wished he could share publicly. The method for shifting from unconscious creation to conscious direction of your electromagnetic field. This isn't complicated, but it is precise. And it requires something most people won't give: consistent attention. Not months, not years, just consistent focus. Are you ready? The Tesla Coherence Protocol. Phase 1. Establish your baseline, days 1 to 2. Morning. 5 minutes. Sit somewhere quiet. Close your eyes. Take 5 deep breaths. 4 count inhale through your nose. Hold for 4. 4 count exhale through your mouth. This isn't just relaxation. This is physiology. Deep, slow breathing shifts your nervous system from sympathetic activation, fight, flight, freeze, into parasympathetic activation, rest, digest, create. It increases heart rate variability, the primary marker of coherence. When you breathe slowly and deeply, your heart rhythm becomes more ordered. And when your heart rhythm becomes ordered, it sends signals to your brain that shift your brain waves into coherence. You're tuning your internal radio. After 5 breaths, bring your hands in front of your chest, palms facing each other, about 6 inches apart. Don't touch. Just hold them there. After 30 seconds, you'll start to feel something. Warmth, tingling, a sense of pressure or magnetic pull between your palms, maybe pulsing, maybe subtle vibration. That's your electromagnetic field. Your hands are generating it constantly, but you've never consciously felt it because you've never paid attention. Now slowly move your hands closer together and farther apart. Feel the field compress and expand. Feel it resist when you compress. Feel it pull when you separate. This is real, this is measurable, you're not imagining it. What you're feeling is the same energy Tesla manipulated with his coils. The only difference is scale. Hold this awareness for 2 minutes. Just feel the field. Don't change anything yet. Evening, 5 minutes. Same process. Breathwork, hand position, feel the field. Then write down. What did I notice today? Any synchronicities? Any shifts in how people responded to me? The goal of phase 1 is simple. Establish awareness that the field exists. This is the foundation most people skip. Phase 2. Set your first intention. Days 3 to 4. Morning, 7 minutes. Same breathwork, same hand position. Feel the field. But this time think of one specific thing you want to experience today. Not vague, not, I want to be happy. Choose something small and testable, a conversation that makes me laugh. Clarity on the decision I've been avoiding. An unexpected compliment. Insight into the problem I'm working on. Something measurable. Something you'll know happened. Now the key, don't visualize it like a movie. Feel it as if it's already real. Feel the satisfaction, gratitude, relief, joy or excitement of already having it. And as you feel that emotion, imagine you're pouring it into the field between your hands, like charging a battery with your intention. Hold that feeling for 3 minutes. What you're doing is creating coherence between your internal state and the quantum field. You're tuning your resonant frequency to match the frequency of what you want to experience. Your fascia is responding. Your heart field is amplifying. Your brain is generating the neural patterns that correspond to that reality. Throughout the day, stay alert. Notice when that thing shows up. It will. Not because of magic, but because your coherent electromagnetic field is interacting with the quantum field, collapsing that specific possibility into your experienced reality. When it happens, and it will, pause, acknowledge it. Say quietly to yourself, the field responded. This isn't affirmation. This is data collection. You're proving to yourself that the mechanism works. Evening, 5 minutes, same protocol. Then write down, did the thing I intended show up? How did it feel? What was different about today? The goal of phase 2, prove to yourself that coherent intention affects outcomes. Small proof, undeniable proof. Phase 3, identify your default broadcast. Morning, 10 minutes. Same breath work, same hand position, but this time don't set an intention. Instead, ask yourself a single question. What frequency am I unconsciously broadcasting most of the time? Sit with that question for 5 minutes. Be brutally honest. Is it fear, scarcity, doubt, resentment, worry, anger? Or is it trust, abundance, curiosity, love, openness? Most people are unconsciously broadcasting some flavor of fear-based survival, because that's the default program installed by culture, media, family, and past trauma. Just notice it. No judgment. Just awareness. Throughout the day, every time you notice a negative thought or emotion, pause. Take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself, is this the frequency I want to broadcast? If the answer is no, shift, relax your body. Soften your fascia. Return to your breath. Choose a different frequency. Evening, 5 minutes. Write down, what was my default frequency today? What patterns did I notice? How many times did I catch myself broadcasting fear instead of trust? The goal of phase 3. Awareness precedes change. You can't shift what you don't see. Phase 4. Practice fascial release, days 7 to 8. Morning, 10 minutes. Lie on your back. Tense every muscle in your body for 10 seconds. Clench everything. Hold. Release completely. Let your body melt into the floor. Repeat 3 times. Then sit up. Do the breath work. Hand position. Feel the field. Notice if the electromagnetic field feels stronger, clearer, more present after releasing fascial tension. It will. Throughout the day, every hour, do a body scan. Notice where you're holding tension: jaw, shoulders, belly, hips, lower back. Consciously release it. Breathe into it. Soften it. Evening. 5 minutes. Write down, what changed when I released tension? Did opportunities flow more easily? Did people respond differently? The goal of phase 4. Train your fascia to stay in relaxed conductivity. Contracted fascia blocks electromagnetic flow. Phase 5. Amplify your field. Days 9 to 10. Morning, 12 minutes. Same breath work. Hand position. Feel the field. This time set an intention for something bigger. I want insight into my biggest challenge. I want an opportunity that genuinely excites me. I want a breakthrough in my thinking about this problem. Feel it as already real for 5 minutes. Pour that feeling into the field between your hands. Then, and this is new, imagine your heart field expanding. Not your physical heart, your electromagnetic heart field. See it extending 8 feet around you, then 12 feet, then filling the entire room. Feel yourself broadcasting that frequency outward, into the space. into the field. Throughout the day, maintain awareness of your field. When you walk into a room, consciously expand your field to fill the space. Notice how people respond. Notice how conversations shift. Notice how opportunities appear. Evening, 5 minutes. Write down, what happened when I amplified my field? How did people respond differently? What showed up that hadn't been there before? The goal of Phase 5, understand that your field isn't fixed. You can expand and contract it intentionally. Phase 6, test the mirror. Days 11 to 12. Morning, 10 minutes. Breath work, hand position, field awareness. Look at one area of your life that's frustrating you, one pattern that keeps repeating. Ask yourself, what internal pattern is this external circumstance reflecting? Sit with that question. Be ruthlessly honest. What belief, fear, or program inside you is creating this reflection? Once you see it, and you will, set a new intention. I release the internal pattern. I broadcast the frequency I actually want to experience. Feel that shift in your body. Feel the old pattern dissolving. Feel the new frequency establishing. Throughout the day, watch that frustrating area. Look for shifts. They'll be subtle at first, a softening, a new perspective, a different option appearing. Evening, 5 minutes. Write down, what shifted when I changed the internal pattern? Even tiny shifts count. Document them all. The goal of Phase 6, prove that external reality mirrors internal state. Once you see this clearly, everything changes. Phase 7, integration, day 13 and beyond. Morning, 15 minutes. Full protocol, breath work, hand position, fascial release, field expansion. Set your intention for the day, but add one element. Gratitude. I'm grateful this is already unfolding. I'm grateful the field is responding. I'm grateful I'm remembering how to do this. Spend 5 minutes in that feeling of gratitude for what hasn't physically manifested yet. This isn't positive thinking. This is quantum mechanics. Gratitude is a specific electromagnetic frequency that creates coherence faster than almost any other emotion. Throughout the day, maintain coherence. When something challenges you, pause, breathe. Ask, what frequency am I broadcasting right now? Consciously choose. Evening, 10 minutes. Review the entire process. Write down, what changed over these 13 days? What did I prove to myself? What will I commit to continuing? The goal of Phase 7, integration, making this your default operating system, not just a temporary experiment. What to expect as you do this? Days 1 to 3. Curiosity mixed with skepticism. Is this actually real? You'll notice small things, but might dismiss them. Days 4 to 7. Recognition. Wait, this is working. Small synchronicities become undeniable. The field clearly responds. Days 8 to 10. Empowerment. I'm actually doing this. You start to feel your power. Test it more boldly. Days 11 to 13. Integration. This is who I am now. The shift from unconscious to conscious creator solidifies. But here's the critical part. After 13 days, you have to choose. Will you continue? Will you make this your way of operating? Or will you slip back into unconscious creation and wonder why the magic faded? Tesla never stopped. Even after he quit the extreme experiments, he continued working with coherence daily until the day he died. That's why, when they found his body in room 3327, the air was glowing. His field was so coherent, so perfectly tuned, that it persisted even after his physical body stopped functioning. You're not trying to become Tesla. You're trying to become the fully conscious version of yourself. The version that understands You're not in the universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself through your unique perspective. Once you fully integrate that truth, once you embody it, not just understand it intellectually, everything becomes possible. But before you start, there's one more thing you need to know. The warning Tesla received, the reason his papers were classified. Let's talk about what Tesla saw in those visions. When the presence, this Lucifer consciousness, showed him the future, it wasn't a single timeline. Tesla described it as seeing all possibilities simultaneously. He saw cities lit by wireless power, free energy flowing through the air like radio waves, poverty eliminated because electricity cost nothing, and disease cured by precise electromagnetic frequencies targeting specific cellular resonances. Beautiful, utopian, everything he'd dreamed of giving humanity. But then, he saw something else. Weapons, energy weapons that could level entire cities from thousands of miles away. Weather control systems that could create hurricanes, droughts, earthquakes at will. Technology that could manipulate human consciousness itself, broadcasting specific frequencies that made entire populations think, feel, or believe whatever the operator wanted them to. Both futures were real. Both were possible. Both existed simultaneously in the quantum field of potential. And the presence told him something that would haunt him for the rest of his life. This is not prophecy, it is choice. The light you give to the world can either give life or burn it away. Power is always a test. Stop for a second. Really absorb what that means. Energy doesn't care how you use it. Fire can cook your food or burn down your house. Electricity can power a hospital or an electric chair. Nuclear fission can generate clean power for millions or destroy entire cities. Same force, same energy, different application. The determining factor isn't the technology, it's the consciousness wielding it. A person operating from fear, scarcity, separation, ego will use power to control, dominate, protect, accumulate, destroy. A person operating from love, abundance, unity, service will use power to create, heal, liberate, share, build. This is why the presence said, power is a test. Every time you gain access to more energy, whether that's money, influence, knowledge, technology, or literal electromagnetic mastery, you're being tested. Will you use it to build or to destroy? Will you wield it consciously or unconsciously? And here's the brutal, uncomfortable truth most people don't want to face. Most people fail that test. Not because they're evil, not because they have malicious intent, but because they're unconscious, running on default programming, fear-based survival patterns, scarcity mindsets inherited from parents, absorbed from culture, burned in by trauma, reinforced by media. Give someone like that unlimited power, unlimited creative ability, unlimited influence, unlimited access, and they'll use it to protect themselves, to accumulate more, to ensure they never feel threatened or vulnerable or insufficient again, even if it means crushing others in the process. Tesla saw this clearly. He saw humanity's trajectory. He saw where unconscious power leads. And he was terrified, because he'd just figured out how to tap into energy fields that could literally reshape physical reality. Free energy from the quantum vacuum, wireless power transmission across continents, electromagnetic technology that could heal any disease or destroy any target. In the wrong hands, unconscious hands, this technology would become the ultimate weapon. That's why he stopped. After that night at Wardenclyffe in 1903, Tesla never conducted another experiment at the edge of life and death. He never fully completed his wireless power system. He let the tower decay. He buried his most dangerous discoveries, not because he couldn't finish them, but because he realized humanity wasn't ready. When Mark Twain asked him about this years later, sitting in that small hotel room, Tesla said something profound. "I realized the devil is not below, Sam. He is within us. Every time a man gains power, he decides who he will become. Think about your own life for a moment. Haven't you seen this play out? The person who gets money and becomes either more generous or more greedy. The person who gets authority and becomes either a servant or a tyrant. The person who gains knowledge and becomes either a teacher or a gatekeeper. This is what the ancient mystery schools understood. This is why initiates had to prove themselves at each level before advancing to the next. Not because the knowledge was sacred, in some religious sense, but because it was dangerous in unconscious hands. You can't give someone operating from fear consciousness access to love consciousness tools. They'll just use those tools to build more sophisticated prisons. You can't teach reality creation techniques to someone who hasn't learned responsibility. They'll create chaos, then blame external forces when it collapses. Tesla tried to warn us. He wrote, "The gift of mental power comes from God, divine being, and if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power." Translation: consciousness must evolve before technology can safely advance. But here's what nobody tells you: the part that changes everything. That evolution isn't about becoming more spiritual in some vague, abstract sense. It's about one thing: taking full responsibility. Responsibility for your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, your electromagnetic broadcast, your impact on the field. Because here's the truth most people can't handle. You already have the power. You're already creating reality every single moment through your observation, your emotion, your resonant frequency. The question isn't whether you have creative power. The question is, are you wielding it consciously or unconsciously? Most people are unconscious creators. They emit fear-based frequencies and then wonder why their life feels threatening. They broadcast scarcity and then wonder why abundance eludes them. They operate from separation and then wonder why they feel alone. They create their own suffering, then blame external circumstances. Tesla figured out how to become a conscious creator, and the presence showed him exactly why that matters. Once you understand you're creating your reality, you can never again claim to be a victim. Not of circumstances, not of other people, not of your past, not of anything. And that level of responsibility terrifies most people. It's easier, so much easier, to blame, to point fingers, to say, "This is happening to me," instead of "I'm creating this through me." But once you see the mirror clearly, once you understand with absolute certainty that external reality is reflecting your internal state, all those excuses disappear. You become responsible, able to respond, able to choose, and that's terrifying for people who've spent their entire lives in victim consciousness. This is what the presence meant when it asked Tesla, "Can you hold power without destroying?" Because destruction doesn't just mean physical violence or weapons or war. Destruction means using your creative power unconsciously, broadcasting fear, judgment, resentment, scarcity into the field, and then wondering why your life reflects those frequencies back to you. Every negative thought about yourself, you're creating that reality. Every judgment you project onto another person, you're creating separation. Every moment you spend in resentment, anger, blame, victimhood, you're collapsing those possibilities into your experience timeline. Tesla understood this toward the end of his life. He wrote in his diary, "God is not a being. It is a frequency. The devil is not an enemy. It is the echo that tests whether we can hear the light." Let that land for a moment. Really let it sink in. You're not being tested by some external force, some cosmic judge, some divine authority. You're being tested by your own consciousness. Can you hold coherence when things get difficult? Can you maintain your frequency when the world around you is chaotic? Can you continue broadcasting love, abundance, creativity, trust, even when circumstances suggest you should contract into fear? That's the test. And every moment of your life is an opportunity to pass it or fail it. Now here's why this matters urgently, right now, in 2025. We're at a tipping point. Technology is advancing exponentially faster than collective consciousness. We have tools that can reshape reality. Artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, quantum computing, electromagnetic weapons, consciousness-altering frequencies, reality simulation technology. But most of the people wielding those tools, developing them, deploying them, profiting from them, are operating from unconscious, fear-based patterns. The exact same pattern Tesla saw in 1903. The exact same reason he stopped his experiments and buried his most dangerous discoveries. But we don't have the luxury of stopping anymore. The technology is here. The genie is out of the bottle. The tools exist. The only question is, will enough people wake up to conscious creation fast enough to steer this in a constructive direction? That's not hyperbole. That's not fear-mongering. That's physics. The collective electromagnetic field, the combined frequency of all human consciousness, shapes the probabilities that collapse into our shared reality. The more people operating from coherent, loving, conscious awareness, the more that frequency becomes dominant in the field. The more people operating from chaotic, fear-based, unconscious reactivity, the more that frequency pulls us toward destruction. Tesla saw both timelines. Both are possible. Both exist right now in quantum superposition. The version that collapses into our experienced reality depends on the choices we make, individually and collectively, in moments exactly like this one. So what will you choose? Will you continue running on default programming, unconsciously creating from fear and scarcity? Or will you take full responsibility, become a conscious creator, and start broadcasting the frequency you actually want to experience? The world doesn't need more unconscious people with power. It needs conscious people who understand how to wield power responsibly. And that starts with you. Right now. This moment. Here's where we are. You know what Tesla discovered in 1903. You understand the mechanism. Consciousness creates reality through electromagnetic fields, and you can direct those fields intentionally. You have the protocol, the exact method for shifting from unconscious reaction to conscious creation. You understand the warning, the responsibility that comes with this knowledge. Now there's only one question left. What will you do with it? Because knowing changes nothing. Understanding changes nothing. Only application, consistent, disciplined, responsible application, creates actual change. Most people will watch this video, feel a surge of excitement and possibility, maybe try the hand exercise once or twice, and then go back to default. Back to unconscious creation. Back to victim consciousness. Back to wondering why life feels like it's happening to them instead of through them. Don't be most people. Tesla didn't stumble into this discovery by accident. He discovered it through relentless experimentation, through pushing himself to the absolute edge, through refusing to accept the limitations everyone else took for granted. And he paid a price for it. Poverty, ridicule, isolation, the confiscation and classification of his life's work. But he also gained something most humans never even glimpse. Direct, unmediated perception of the creative force underlying all reality. That same access is yours. Right now, not someday. Now. Not after years of meditation. Not after reading more books or taking more courses or collecting more credentials. Now. You already have the hardware. Your body is already conducting energy. Your fascia is already responding to consciousness. Your heart is already generating electromagnetic fields. Your awareness is already collapsing quantum possibilities into experienced reality. The only question is, will you do it consciously or unconsciously? Here's your immediate next step. Start the protocol tomorrow morning. Set your alarm 15 minutes earlier. Do phase 1. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you're ready. Don't wait until circumstances are ideal. Start now. Start messy. Start imperfect. But start. Track your results. Write them down. Document the synchronicities. Notice the shifts in how people respond to you. Prove it to yourself. Because once you prove it, once you see with your own direct experience that coherent intention actually shapes outcomes, that your electromagnetic field actually influences reality, that you're not a victim but a creator, everything changes. Your entire relationship with reality transforms. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What am I creating? What frequency am I broadcasting? What pattern am I reflecting?" You stop waiting for permission and start giving it to yourself. You stop looking for external validation and start trusting your own direct experience. You become sovereign. And once you've proven it to yourself, once conscious creation becomes your lived reality instead of an interesting theory, then you have a responsibility, not to save the world, not to become some guru or teacher, not to preach or evangelize, but to continue, to make this your default operating system, to broadcast coherence consistently. Because remember, the collective field is determined by the sum of all individual fields. The more people operating in conscious coherence, the faster the collective consciousness shifts. And when collective consciousness shifts, reality itself transforms. Tesla saw both possible futures. The one where humanity uses this knowledge to create, to heal, to liberate, to flourish, and the one where humanity uses it to destroy, to control, to dominate, to collapse. Both timelines exist. Both are real. Both are possible. The one that becomes actual depends on how many people make the choice to become conscious creators. That includes you. Right now. This moment. This isn't just about your personal transformation, though that will be profound. This is about the species, the trajectory, the future that collapses into reality. You're not here by accident. You didn't watch this video by random chance. Some part of you, the aware part, the conscious part, the part that remembers, brought you here. The question is, will you honor that? Will you act on it? Drop one word in the comments below. One word that captures what you're feeling in this exact moment. Ready. Awakened. Committed. Terrified. Skeptical. Hopeful. Whatever is true for you. That word isn't just a comment. It's not just engagement for the algorithm, though it does help more people find this. It's your declaration to the field, your signal to the quantum field that you're making a choice. You're choosing consciousness over unconsciousness, creation over reaction, responsibility over victimhood. And once you declare it, once you put it out there, the universe responds. The field hears you. The mirror reflects your declaration back. Circumstances begin to align. If you haven't subscribed, do it now, because this is just the beginning. What I'm going to show you next, the advanced protocol Tesla encoded in his later writings, the techniques he hinted at but never fully explained, makes everything you've learned today look like the warm-up. But I only share that with people who prove they're serious. People who actually do the work. People who take responsibility. Drop your word. Start the protocol tomorrow. Track your results for 13 days. Then come back and tell me what happened. Tell me what you proved to yourself. Because once enough people prove this, once the critical mass shifts from unconscious to conscious, there's no going back. The collective field transforms. Reality responds. The future changes. Tesla tried to do this alone. He failed because humanity wasn't ready. But now we have the internet. Now we have the ability to connect, to synchronize, to amplify each other's fields across the planet. Now we can do together what Tesla couldn't do alone. The light bearer isn't Tesla, isn't me, isn't some external savior coming to rescue you. The light bearer is you. It's always been you. You're the awareness. You're the observer. You're the consciousness creating reality through your electromagnetic field. The only question is, are you ready to remember? Are you ready to switch it on? drop your word, start tomorrow. I'll see you in the field. And once you're in, once you've proven it to yourself, everything you thought was impossible becomes inevitable.